billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
Where it's hotter than 10 hells.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bowman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bowman.
I'm wondering if Vulture and Birdman are related somehow.
So, let's talk about some stuff.
I want to get nuts.
I was waiting for him to say that right from the beginning of the movie. I was waiting for him. I was like, would they possibly... by the way, we're going to spoil the hell out of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
The latest... Well, the first...
Marvel Spider-Man?
Yeah, the first Marvel / Sony co-pro Spider-Man thing. Because Sony's made... 2, 3, 5 of them at this point.
It was like the trilogy and then
3 Garfield,
2 Garfield and they went...
2 Garfields
nah.
and 3...
Or 2, yeah.
3
Tobey Maguires.
Tobey Maguires.
Right.
I still contend that second one, Spider-Man 2, with the Sam Raimi did with
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire
That's great.
and Alfred Molina. It's one of the best
Yeah.
superhero movies, like before this renaissance we've had.
Absolutely. And it was put in stark contrast with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Which, what?
Well, a lot of that.
Well, hey, they did it with Batman too. I mean, The Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
yeah, I literally have only seen that once.
I found it very tedious at places.
Yeah, Bane was a little, yeah. And,
there, Sailor.
Hello there.
You come here often.
Oh.
Kind of sounds like an effeminate Nazi or something like that. Hello.
Oh, what a lovely singing voice you must have.
Exactly.
Just
much
so
better.
weird. But I still say 2 with Alfred Molina and the Sam Raimi did is good. And what I was going to say was the whole thing with 3 was it was 1 and 2 were such huge moneymakers, and Sony
Yeah.
was like jumped all over Sam Raimi, and it was like, oh, it's got to be Venom. You got to do Venom, and he's like, I don't want to do Venom. He's like, no, you have to do Venom. He's the most popular character. It'll be great. He's like, I don't want to do Venom. I don't like Venom. Rumor has it that he wanted to do the Vulture, and he wanted Ben Kingsley to play the Vulture.
Oh, that could have been good.
Would have been great,
That would have
depending on his take on it. But they bullied him into doing Venom, and he hated it, and that's why it's such a weird movie, because he didn't kind of want to do it that way. He didn't.
It's kind of like a kid who was forced to do his chores when he doesn't want to, and it's like, fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like Age of Ultron. It's like, you have to make all this, put this shit in here, Joss, and Joss is like, all right, it's going to be not a good movie.
Wow, that gives me 10 minutes of screen time to do what I want to
tell
do.
a story that
Yeah.
I tell.
Remember what you hired Joss for? You don't necessarily hire him for... Well, let's put it this way. You don't hire him first for directing. You hire him first for storytelling.
Yes.
I mean, he's not an auteur like, oh my gosh, Citizen Kane has nothing on the camera angles and the cinema.
He's a writer.
No, he's a writer. He tells the stories. And when you tell him, it's like, all right, we've already done the outline for your story. Like, no.
Yeah, no.
It's like, here, we give you a novel deal. Here you go. Here's an outline for your first novel.
Right.
What?
That's not
how it
story,
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And
like,
which is still bizarre considering how much money the freaking Avengers made. I mean, they jumped all over. But I mean, I guess the machine of Disney, Marvel got so big.
the key is to have somebody in the Feige / putting that outline together to really have a good game plan and to really be a storyteller themselves, so that when you bring in the auteurs to tell that story, they can support the main overview with their own flourishes.
Well, I mean, there is an overarching thing that's going through all the movies, but you got to let the movie be a movie. That's I think my least favorite Marvel movie of all of them is Ultron, just because it's not a movie. It's a bunch of coming attractions.
It's a lot of plot points that they drop,
for other stuff.
It's like, it's going to be weird now, but in 7 years when that movie comes out, people go, oh,
I get it.
It's like, yeah, but what about the people in the theater now?
Right.
It's like, you finally get to see the film that David Lynch does that explains Eraserhead. It's like, wow, I sat through Eraserhead back in the 80s, and now finally he makes the film that explains. It makes perfect sense now.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, what the fuck?
Right.
So-
So when was it? I guess 2 years ago we had Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
And there was
Probably one of the better.
absolutely one of the best.
Pretty sweet.
Done by, strangely enough, the Russo brothers, who just got shit canned off the Han Solo movie.
No.
Yeah?
I thought that was Taylor and Lord.
Lord and Miller. Oh,
Lord and Miller. Yeah, they weren't on the Han Solo film.
No,
I mean, Lord and Miller were.
yeah.
But not the
Maybe-
Russo
you're
brothers.
right. You're absolutely right. That's weird that I got that confused.
All these brothers around,
I
and then
know,
sometimes
making
the
movies.
brothers become sisters.
Maybe it's
and
the Duff.
It's just, it's just
The brothers become sisters, and then the Duffer brothers make TV shows. And
Exactly.
so we got Captain America: Civil War, which there was a giant coup within the legal community, and they were able to. Marvel was finally able to get Spider-Man back.
Well, my guess is that Disney, in the form of the agreement, backed up a couple of their big, massive money printing trucks and opened the doors and dumped them at Sony, and Sony went, okay.
I think part of it was also, hey, Sony, remember all that money you lost on the Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, here's a chance.
Would you like to have some of it back? Well, here's the little quid pro quo.
Yeah, exactly. So we just got done seeing it, literally like 20 minutes ago.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, so it's fresh in our skulls.
Yep.
So, initial thoughts.
My initial thought is, piggybacking off of what I was just saying about the Marvel-Sony deal, is I find it absolutely amazing that a Sony, technically a Sony movie made through Marvel Films,
Right.
had more connections to the MCU than any of the other movies.
Yep.
Unbelievable how, I mean, it is so deeply rooted. It's not like Daredevil, where stuff kind of happened over there and we kind of allude to it and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
We don't name any of the Avengers by name.
By
but
name.
The big guy.
And
yeah.
the incident and
Yeah,
all that.
exactly.
It happened, same universe, but it happened over there.
Right.
And this starts frame one in New York after the event, after the Chitauri invasion, and it's the cleanup for the incident.
See, I like that angle because that's something you don't see in the aftermath of Zod versus Superman.
Right.
A story that revolves around, hey, you just destroyed half the city. You saved us. What? Cleanup, rebuilding. And so I like that they're taking these films and putting them in a real world situation as much as you can.
Right. Daredevil was really good with that. Because that was the whole plan of the Kingpin and the minions, Leland and all that, to to get in under the wire while all this crazy shit is going on, to profiteer off.
Right,
of
exactly, and that's exactly what would happen. Now, one of the things they don't do in some of these superhero films or in the aftermaths or the sequels or whatever, show the apocalyptic cults that would undoubtedly spring up, like, oh my gosh, these monsters came from a rift in the sky.
Yeah.
And, judgment is, there'd be people, there'd be mass suicides, there would be lawlessness. You get to the next film and everyone's like, oh yeah, some stuff happened, but we're cleaning up. And like, no, this radically
literally
alters.
gods are walking the earth.
Exactly. You are, you have to understand life is different.
Yes.
I mean, as much as we have BC and AD, I absolutely guarantee you that if we make first contact, that's
the next paradigm.
It'll be AC, after contact or whatever. That'll be the next massive epic change in how we identify time.
Absolutely.
And it's happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I really appreciate bringing it back to The Leftovers. A bunch of people disappear. There's no explanation. Apocalyptic cults pop up. People lose, they lose their faith in everything or cling to their faith even more tightly. A lot of these superhero films don't address the the psychology of the population that just got saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, well, and Doctor Who's a perfect example of, oh yeah, there were some metal guys here in London a couple of years ago,
right.
but you know, it's all good now.
The Earth was moved into a different sector and towed back.
Right. And in a way, you have to do that because otherwise, if you keep adding on all these traumas that they keep being saved from, you can't relate to the people being saved anymore.
Right.
In other words, when Spider-Man saves, it's New York, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely.
I mean, it is New York, but I'm like, I never heard them call it a different name. So
Spider-Man is New York.
Well, when they say
Marvel,
Staten Island Ferry, I'm like, that's not a euphemism for the Staten Island Ferry.
No, all the Marvel stuff takes place in America. Like, like in real cities,
Good.
Chicago and New York and everything.
Good. That's, I forgot where I was going now.
People moving on and getting used to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it would change the attitude, the demeanor of the entire country.
But counterpoint to that, 9/11 happened and we did change, but life does kind of go back.
It does, but that was explainable and it was contained.
Mm-hmm.
They did this in this time period and now it's done.
Right.
They could do it again, but we are taking steps.
Right.
Monsters from the freaking sky that opened up in a rift.
True.
They didn't say it was coming. We never knew it was going to happen, and it could easily happen again.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, you walk out, you know, I guarantee you go out to your car, you just look up, you know, sky seems okay today.
Especially if you live in New York City when, you know, giant things are crashing.
That'd be the first thing if you took the superhero films as gospels, like, get to the freaking country, man.
Yeah.
You don't see
Iowa don't look so bad right now, does it?
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is something that I'm very happy to see that the Avengers did. They took their damn monster, like, attack here target in the middle of a freaking metropolitan area and moved it upstate. So that when the attack comes, you're still going to have some casualties, but it's not going to be like 10,000 people in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, in every building surrounding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just the damage alone.
Right. Well, speaking of that, there's so the movie starts with, like I said, a contractor, Adrian Toomes, being played by Michael Keaton, you know, cleaning up and salvaging and all this, and a, you know, shadowy government agency shows up and basically
head by Cagney or Lacey.
Yeah,
I can't remember which one she was.
I think she was Lacey, but I'm not.
I don't know.
But I'm not sure.
Tyne Daly shows up.
Now here's the very first, because there was a lightheartedness to this movie.
Definitely.
The organization they were representing was called Damage Control.
Right.
Damage Control was a book about a comedy Marvel book about the people like the insurance agencies who come in and clean up. So when Powerless came on TV, people were like, "That's just Damage Control," kind of.
It's more the R&D department.
Exactly. So it's kind of like beforehand instead of. But
right.
So actually calling them Damage Control was actually very funny that they did that.
Now, see, you're going to get a lot of stuff in this.
Oh yeah.
That I was like, okay, don't get it all. I gotta say, can we just talk casting?
Sure.
Here, let's talk some. First of all, I can't remember the guy's name. Who's playing?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. He didn't like wow me necessarily, but did not embarrass himself at all. Did just fine.
He's a good actor. One of the things that landed him the role is he is an actual acrobat. He does a lot of the flips and stuff. And
there's a thing, you know, you can have as much CGI as you want, but if you have someone who has that.
The physicality
of it as they move, even before the CGI cuts in, it lends authenticity.
Yep. So that was kind of his thing.
Yeah, and, you know, as little CGI as you possibly can get away with. That's, you know, if I were an auteur in any kind of film, as little CGI as you can possibly do. That's why I will never direct a Transformers film.
Right.
If for no other reason, just because, like, oh, look, Michael Bay's back. Like, it's not that one. It's the other one. It's the good one. Or hopefully...
I don't know.
Hopefully the adequate one.
Yeah. Casting.
Casting. Keep in mind, folks, we're spoiling.
Yeah.
Spoiling like absolute correct.
So, go see it first.
The best casting... Martin Starr as Mr. Harrington. Do you know who Mr. Harrington is?
No.
Academic decathlon coach.
Okay, yes.
Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley.
Okay. I knew I'd seen him before.
The character of Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley is my Patronus.
Okay.
Is my spirit animal.
Okay.
If you don't watch,
I'm not familiar.
He's a devil worshiper. He just, you know.
Got it.
But an actual devil worshiper like they would be
That's
in
his
real
religion.
life. Where it's just like, no, I'm not dressing in black with black lipstick and trying to be. I'm not a movie version of
Yeah.
a devil worshiper.
I'm a Satanist.
Satanist, exactly. It's just Guilfoyle. God.
Okay.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, yes.
Okay.
Two of the greatest little bits of casting. Donald Glover.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
this guy's about ready. I mean, he's at like B+, A- level right now.
Yeah.
He's just ready because of Community and the TV show Atlanta, and he's going to be the young Lando.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well, you know why that they cast him, of course.
no, I don't.
Okay, here's why.
So this is why you would.
Here is why it is even better of a cameo than you thought.
Okay, all right, go for it.
Back when they were making, I guess when they were making the Andrew Garfield ones, when they were gonna, you know, they said we're gonna reboot.
Oh, was he going to be Spider-Man?
There was some rumor or like somebody said it online that they should cast Donald Glover as Spider-Man, and he just tagged up on it on social media and was like, hell yeah, let's do a hashtag. And of course, people went fucking berserk.
You can't have a black Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry. Does the ethnicity of
Yeah.
Spider-Man affect? I mean,
It doesn't at all.
spiders, radioactive spiders, don't
Right.
bite black people.
Yes, Peter Parker in the comics is not white, but okay, we're kind of past that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
now.
but if it's
you know,
not,
you can't have a white T'Challa, Black Panther.
right. Exactly. That does not work.
That doesn't work
Right.
for a reason.
Right.
You
Because
know,
of his origin
because
story
of
and the
his
whole
origin.
bit. Exactly.
Right, because of who he is.
Right.
Whereas Peter Parker, okay, yeah, why not?
well,
Why
actually,
should-
isn't the current Spider-Man in the comic books? He's Latina, right? Latino.
Well, yes. He's it's a different guy. It's not Peter Parker.
Well,
it's
right,
Miles
right.
Morales. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, it's
Yes.
the new Spider-Man
Right.
in the comic books, and it's like makes no difference
yeah.
whatsoever. That's
I
why
mean,
I
I
want a
see
female doctor,
Yep.
and I want a black James Bond.
Also that's why Idris Elba as Roland in Dark Tower is great because you know, again, people went nuts, but that's even less of a thing because that's just a novel. You know, we've seen Peter Parker as a white man, but so that's why casting Donald Glover was just a complete nod to that. It's like, you know, all that bullshit, and here we go.
And good on him to go, yeah, sure.
Hell yeah.
What, it's 2 days work? Screw it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, less than 2 minutes of screen time, I'm on. Actually, no, he came back. He came back later on.
Yeah,
at
he
the-
had two
at the
good
trunk.
scenes.
So he had 2 scenes.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yep.
I am. Did you ever watch Atlanta? His
I've
series?
watched some. I've watched a few episodes of it. Yeah,
Oh man,
it's wild. It's pretty great.
It's just really good, down to earth storytelling with a slightly droll edge to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not a comedy. It's like Nurse Jackie,
Okay.
which you no,
No, I've never
okay.
seen it.
It wasn't a comedy, but it had comedy in
Yeah.
it. It wasn't necessarily a drama, but it definitely had a lot of dramatic elements to it. It's in that netherworld of, you know, it's just life, and
Yeah.
life by its nature, you know, laughing one minute, crying the next. So that's why. Anyway, the other
The
other
best
bit,
one.
the best one, Hannibal Buress as the coach.
That was fantastic.
I mean, I want to go back and see it again just for Hannibal's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my! Have you ever watched even one episode of the Eric Andre show?
Oh yeah.
I mean-
it's hard to watch, but watching him, like I said, I've heard interviews with him, and he said, you know, any reaction he has is real because he literally just shows up.
He walks in and
they
reacts.
start and they roll,
Yep.
and he has no idea what crazy shit Eric Andre is going to do. And
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he definitely plays Hannibal Buress in everything.
Right.
He plays that guy, but he's so good.
He's the Jack Nicholson of comedians.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson always plays Jack in every role he does, and most of the time it's pretty decent,
Right.
pretty good. Sometimes it's brilliant. Hannibal Buress is always Hannibal Buress, and
Yep.
he works out real well.
Yeah.
Now there's two other little bits of casting that I thought was very interesting.
Okay.
Do you know who the voice of Suit Lady / Karen
I
is?
looked because I wanted to see who it was. Yeah.
All right, Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
I mean,
Because I was like, good voice. I wouldn't mind having her talk to me all the
yeah,
time.
exactly. And it's like, oh, Jennifer
Yeah.
Connelly. It just goes to show you, it's like, you know, although her star has fallen a little bit. I mean, she's a top notch actress. I mean, she's come a long way since Labyrinth.
Right. But she's kind of double dipping in
Oh.
a way because she was in one of the Hulk movies.
Oh, that's right. She was one
She
of
was
the
Betty, not Betty Brant. She was what the hell's her name? I'll think of it.
some alliteration.
More or less, yeah.
And that was in the Ang Lee one.
Yeah. No, that was it. No, she was in the Eric Bana one. No, not the Eric Bana. The God damn it, Ed Norton one. She was no, that was
No,
Liv
that was-
Tyler.
yeah.
Then she was in the Ang Lee one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
that
many-
doesn't technically count.
No, because one's a voice, one's a...
But I mean, in the whole Marvel no double dipping thing.
well, they
that-
already double dipped with Ryan Reynolds, so then
No, because that's Fox. Both of those are Fox. The Wolverine movies and Deadpool were both Fox. Yeah. At least the Wolverine movies are.
All
So,
right.
well,
All right.
I mean, fucking Chris Evans was Captain America and Johnny Storm in the first. So,
nobody's counting the Fantastic Four films
yeah,
anywhere.
It's on. Well, the very first one is not awful. It ain't great, but it's not completely terrible. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Connelly, yes.
Jennifer Connelly.
Not to mention, like I said, going back to the whole Marvel, connections, they got Favreau back playing Happy,
Yeah.
and there's a cameo at the end of Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, and Chris Evans as fucking Captain America.
Yeah, those PSAs, man. I really hope that on the DVD
We get 50 of
there's
them.
There's like 3 hours of him like, so you got a pimple. Well, is it, how many more of these things are there? Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow, who got like what 5th or 6th billing.
Yeah, that was nuts.
and for less than I'm going to be very generous and say 2 minutes of screen time.
maybe.
Barely. Maybe
yeah.
like 1 minute 7 seconds of screen time.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I really hate her company. That Goop thing.
Oh, yes, it's awful.
The thing about, hey, ladies, strengthen your pelvic wall by shoving jade eggs into your vagina.
Yes. That are
And doctors come
$10,000.
back and go, no, don't put stickers on your body for aligning your energy.
Yeah.
Who are you? Shut up.
Don't steam your vagina and at $800 a pop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a guy, and I know enough about female anatomy to go, that's wrong.
Not only is
Gwyneth
that
Paltrow, and
inaccurate,
you have one. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's the exact opposite of the thing you should do.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow is not all that beloved, these days. But,
Right.
hey, you know what? Welcome.
But she's part of the universe.
She's part of the universe.
She's Pepper,
Welcome
and
back.
she's part of the universe.
I separate the
She's been
acting
out for a
from-
while. She hadn't been back since Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
So she's been out for like 2-3 movies.
So, and she popped back in. Apparently, finally getting
Married
engaged
to
to Tony.
Okay, but let's get to the actual meat of the thing. I thought it was really good for the fact that most superhero movies, you'll get the hero will figure out his power, and there'll be a montage, and they'll have like one mission that goes bad, and then they'll have a montage, and then
You're
they'll
the best around.
Exactly, and then they'll be, then they'll be the hero. He sucks through this whole movie. He's a really terrible Spider-Man.
I mean, he barely.
Even the
he's-
thing, okay, the one issue I have of the film we will get to, but even the thing that supposedly redeems him is not that great a thing that he does. So we will get to that.
It's like, oh wow, you brought down a plane. I can do that.
Yeah, I could have shot down an airplane.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not going to. If
Right.
if the Trump,
Yes.
administration is listening,
No,
I certainly wouldn't bring down Air Force One. I would never do that, Dan.
No, we will
Never.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, it's. But I like the whole thing about if you are nothing without this suit, then you
Yes.
don't deserve it. And part of me goes, he's got a point there.
Absolutely.
I mean, he basically went from the reason it was called Training Wheels Program is, you just got your powers. You got to hone that stuff.
Yeah.
You got to work your,
Yeah, you can't in a week figure out there's 500 web combinations.
Right.
you know?
And last I checked, if you step on a spider, it will die. If a massive, 16-ton air conditioning unit falls through the ceiling on you, you're gonna die.
Yeah. If he gets shot, Spider-Man's not like bulletproof or anything.
Right.
If he gets shot, he's going to get killed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's kind of, how accurate is he? Can he shoot a web to stop a bullet in midair?
He can spread and
Yeah.
but
Well,
still, he's definitely faster than people. But it's not like the Flash or
Right.
he's not bulletproof.
How weird is that there's a character named Flash in this film?
Yeah, Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
That's one thing they did. They really went crazy diverse on this movie. They with almost every other character in the school, which is really accurate considering New York City. I mean, the girl he's pining for was African American.
Yep.
Zendaya is kind of, I forget what she is. She's who plays
Michelle.
Michelle,
Is it Michelle?
yeah. Michelle, yeah, we'll get to that too. Michelle, she's I believe she's half black, half. I think her parents are mixed. I've seen stuff with her. His best friend looks like Filipino or
Oh
Hawaiian
no,
or something.
American Samoan.
Samoan
Looks
is
like-
okay.
looks to
That's
me.
what it is. And Flash Thompson was Indian, I believe, or
Greatest thing. He's looking at the thing. He steps and he's wearing the Spider-Man mask.
Of course he would be.
And
That's
it's like-
it was so great. That guy was really good. He
That
was
was-
done really. Ken, I think his name was, or what was his name?
I don't know.
His buddy.
Yeah, that was fun, and that character was needed. A sidekick, not a sidekick, for lack of a better term, friend / guy in the chair.
the guy in the chair. Yeah,
Guy in the
the
chair.
confidant. Someone he.
But hey, guy in the chair, when you get caught in the school lab using the computers to help Spider-Man, and they ask you what you're doing, think of something more original than I was watching porn.
It was the Homer Simpson defense. I was watching pornography.
Exactly. Don't see her watching pornography. I was watching pornography. Like, don't. Yeah, that was, and that teacher that came in there, who you see throughout the film, she is the principal in that in the show Vice Principals on, I believe it's HBO.
Oh, okay.
With Walter Coggins from Justified,
Right.
and oh gosh, what's his name? The Ricky. Oh, I forgot his name already. He's a comedian.
Okay.
Forget about it.
All right.
I've already forgotten about his name.
All right.
But so this film had a lot of I recognize that guy and that guy.
Yeah.
And there was even a couple others that I know you. Like the
Yeah,
principal.
there's a lot of character
The
actors.
principal.
The announcer at the academic decathlon was a character actor.
Yes, I've seen that before. And then, of course, there was Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, he was trying to sleep.
Gary was trying to sleep. Let's see.
Poked his head out the window.
Oh yes.
Character actor Stan Lee.
Stan the Man Lee.
His wife just passed away this week.
This weekend, I think.
Yeah, at 91. So, 91's not bad.
Yeah,
but
that's a good
put you in,
run.
I'm hoping he has sat down with Feige, and Feige goes, here are the next 7 films. We'll put you in here. It's like
He's filmed a
film
bunch
me-
of them already.
Yeah,
he
film me
filmed like
now.
5 of them already.
I like that because 7-8 years after he passes away,
Yeah.
hopefully after 100, let's say.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, bam, you get more Stan Lee. Like, nice.
I might have to pony up the money and meet him at Dragon Con this year. Is
he gonna be there?
He's here this year. Yeah, they announced it.
I tell you, after the age of like 70, if you drag your ass to these conventions, good on you.
He loves it. He loves it. He's like, what could I possibly have to complain about? I have the best life in the world. Why, I get to meet people who tell me I'm great. Why would I not do that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
A funny aside about this movie, I was having a little bit of trouble because a lot of it was filmed in Atlanta and a lot of it was filmed in New York, and a lot of places, evidently, Spider-Man goes to the same high school my cousin did. The exterior of that high school is like, I know exactly where that is.
So, like, your life is like, I'm here. I'm back in New York. I'm here. I'm back in New York.
It's like, I know that place. I know that. And the port that looked like where the Staten Island ferry was going out, that looked like that was right over by CNN, by the aquarium.
Oh, the home of fake news.
The home of fake news, yes. Yeah. The home of fake ferry. And I read in Entertainment Weekly, they said the one thing we got wrong, and we know we got it wrong, and we had to get it wrong, is that you haven't been allowed to put cars on the Staten Island ferry since the 90s. But we had to. It was like, they're like, yeah, we copped to it, but...
You know what? If you don't live in New York, that's probably not going to be something that pops up and you go, that's wrong.
But also, there's not Spider-Man either.
Also, yeah.
He's not really...
It's like, hey, that's totally inaccurate.
That's inaccurate,
yes. Right. You believe that there's a guy that shoots the thing, but...
The webs,
but the cars, he have a problem with. Speaking of which, not being a like we've established well
comic
before, I'm not not just a fan, just haven't gone there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why I don't get like a Wii or Xbox or anything. I don't disdain it at all. I just know it will literally open up a rift of time in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And I will shovel so many hours into it.
You'll never sleep
I
again.
will never get anything done. So I abstain.
Yeah.
So same thing with comics. He shoots them with... I always thought he shot... The part of the being bitten was that, for lack of a better term, little ports, little ducts would come out.
As a matter of fact, that was changed in the Sam Raimi ones. Like that, the web fluid is a thing from the books from day one.
Web fluid being external, like he has to create it.
He makes it because he's a chemist as well. So yeah, he created the web shooters and he creates the web fluid.
So he realizes that he can do the climbing thing and the strength and stuff. He goes, "Gosh, the only thing I can't do is spin a web. Let me do."
So he figured out how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, they changed that for the Sam Raimi movies, and all the nerds went crazy. And I was like, that's smart. It cuts out a whole thing, because it's in the, they use it as a MacGuffin in a lot of the comics and in the cartoons and stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm out of web fluid. Oh, I'm out of web fluid, and or stuff like that. So having it be organic made sense.
Right, and we don't know what Spider-Man's refractory period is.
Right, exactly.
It's like, I got to get 300 miles away. He gets there and he's like, oh, crap. I need to take a nap for an hour. I'll be right with you in the action.
The shot where he's out in the park and he's trying to shoot the web and there's nothing to grab onto cracked me up because it
just shoots off into the air. You're like, oh.
It's like, yeah, what is he going to do? Well, they did that joke in the Tick cartoon. One of my favorite jokes, because he's the same thing. He's jumping from roof to rooftop, and he gets to this one building. And he goes, "Huh, all out of roofs." Just,
what am I going to do?
What the hell is Spider-Man going to do? He's just going to run through the
That's
park.
why Spider-Man's like, all right, we've got a battle, Avengers. We meet in the desert. He's like, I'll sit this one out.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Spider-Man, we get you there.
You and Aquaman go hang. I'm not current on a lot of the comics, but I don't know if Tony Stark had anything to do, and if he has a new high-tech suit, because he never did. It was just a thing he made. I'm sure it was some polymer that he created because he's a scientist. But.
Which brings me to, so this teenage new Spider-Man is enough of a chemist to come up with material that the military industrial complex or just general business corporations would die for.
Yeah.
And no one's working on it, and he just comes up with it.
Yeah.
After Spider-Man comes out there, why is there not a company that goes, hey,
Maybe there will be.
maybe let's see, that's part of that real world.
That would be a really interesting plot
Because let's
line.
face it, as soon as something innovative comes out, all of a sudden, bam, the copycats come out
Well,
everywhere.
they kind of did that in Iron Man 2 when Sam Rockwell's character was trying to manufacture
Right.
Iron Man, drones, basically. So that would be an interesting plot line. That would be-
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, aside from, I'm guessing, the climbing up walls and ceilings, super strength, modest indestructibility. Is that it? Destructibility. Sure, that's a word. You get thrown against a wall, the wall breaks and you don't, and you're
Yeah.
okay. It hurts a little bit, but you're like, okay, I would like to see, after a battle, he peels off the suit. Is he bruised everywhere?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't see any bruises in
True.
this film at all.
True.
But then again, he was out of his shirt after a battle, never, as far as I know.
Right.
So, let's face it, when you have a 14-year-old Spider-Man, you don't give the ladies the shirtless. He's 14 years old, gals.
Yeah, that's not really.
But somehow I think that's not a real issue for girls. We're not looking for a 14-year-old boy. So, we're not horrible like that as a gender. So,
Yeah, we got to be careful with that kind of stuff.
exactly. So, what'd you think about all the 80s? When
The music,
When they
right?
walked into the dance, it was sounded like Flock of Seagulls, a Space Age love song.
I did notice that. All
There's
the
like
music.
3 or 4 main songs. We got Ramones, which technically is 70s.
Yeah, but I mean, there was more than that. There was there was almost no modern music, and I thought that was really an odd choice.
Yeah,
Even especially at the prom or
'Cause
the homecoming. I
yeah,
should say.
because let's face it, you play 80s right now for the kids, and they're like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're into it. I don't know. I don't hang out
I don't
with
know.
14-year-olds.
Well, there is that, but
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Maybe it's come back around. I don't know, but
Oh no, things never come back in vogue after they go away.
Right.
That never happens.
I thought it was an odd choice for the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
I
mean, it worked for me because that's the music of
but
my
it
people.
was kind of a disconnect. For
It was-
me.
it
I was
was-
like, oh, why are they using such?
It was a bit of incongruity.
Yeah, agreed.
But okay. I mean, if they had just had the Blitzkrieg bot by the Ramones,
Yeah, and everything
else was modern, we're like, all right, they just threw a little old school in there. That's cool. But this was like,
Yeah, the whole
a
thing.
lot of old school.
Yeah,
I want to find out who the music supervisor was on this film.
Yeah.
and see what now. One bit of music that they used that I was very, very happy with, and they were finally able to use it. At the very, very beginning,
They drew over the Marvel logo. Yeah, the
The
original Spider-Man
orchestral.
theme. They snuck it into one of the Sam Raimi movies.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, he was walking
Oh.
through the subway, and there was a street performer, like an Asian lady with a Spider-Man, Spider. She's so they did kind of
okay.
little Easter egg it in there, but.
Yeah.
It was cool to hear like an orchestral version of it over the Marvel
like,
logo.
all right,
It was
all
pretty
right.
cool.
And of course, we know Tony Stark. I think in 2 occasions mentioned, "Why can't you be just a friendly neighborhood
Yeah.
Spider-Man?"
Yeah.
And in the context, that makes perfect sense. He wants him to hone his skills locally with pickpockets and
Well, he
purse
doesn't want to get some
snatchers.
kid killed,
Right, exactly.
doing the crazy shit that he does.
It's exactly. It's like, hey, I'm going to become a runner. Great, we're going to enter you in a full marathon tomorrow. No, you train, you build up,
Yes.
you develop your running. You don't just decide to be a runner and like, all right, here we go. 28 miles for a marathon?
26.
26?
Yep.
So here I go.
Yeah, you'll die.
Yeah, you will die. Even
Yeah.
if you're absolutely in great condition, your body is not going to go, this new thing,
Yeah.
humans can adapt very well, but not instantaneously.
Right,
We're
right.
not chameleons.
Yeah,
We don't
and,
get on the
okay,
racetrack
you've
and all of a
got-
sudden become runners.
Right, and he's got abilities and powers and stuff, and he's smart, but he still doesn't know what he's doing. He's still not fought
Well,
people,
he's essentially the greatest American hero.
more or less.
And
at this point,
there is no instruction booklet to have
Right,
lost.
right.
You just suddenly have these powers and you need to
figure
hone-
it out.
Yeah. So, and of course, it was a very nice ploy to be able to hack the suit.
Yes.
and get it off of baby mode.
Yeah, training wheel mode.
mode, and all of a sudden to be fully, I love how Karen just like, and kill mode?
Kill mode. And,
Or what was it? Was it immediate death mode? There was
Yeah, something,
some
yeah,
term,
yeah.
and like the Spider-Man's eyes go red. He goes, no, take it
yeah,
off.
yeah.
I'm not trying to kill anybody. Yeah, that's. I like that. I like
Yeah.
how Karen's like, kill somebody now?
Yeah.
Well, no, back off.
Yeah, taser webs. What do you mean taser webs?
Yeah, it's like, well, there are three. What did he say? Something like 300,000
It
variations.
was like 500 web combinations or something.
something like that. I'm like, wow,
Web grenades.
web grenades.
So, Michael Keaton.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's great. He's great.
He just,
You know?
he's
Good guy, bad guy. He's great.
I think he does bad guys better than good guys, in my opinion. At least lately. I mean, obviously back in the '80s, Mr. Mom, obviously,
Yeah.
but obviously
Night
good.
Shift. I mean, he was a comedian.
Yeah, but I really am upset that he didn't get the Oscar for Birdman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know how I love my Birdman. I love that film.
Yep.
But no, I got no problem with it. Now, I should have known the formula. You have to have a third act surprise.
Yeah.
I
didn't see that coming.
My brain was not even thinking about a third act surprise. I was just in it.
Again, spoilers, but Spider-Man finally asks the girl, to the prom, the girl he's been pining
Liz.
for the whole time,
Right.
And he's had the suit taken away because he fucked up so many times.
Right.
That Tony takes the suit away, so he's got his janky suit. And he's almost kind of settling into the maybe I'm not cut out for this, and I'm just
Right.
going to go to school, and I'm just going to hone my skills, maybe, or maybe I won't. I'll just go to decathlon. I'll do this. I'll do that. And he asks her out and decides to, and he takes her to homecoming, and he gets to her house and opens the door, and who's standing there?
It's Vulture.
It's the Vulture, and I did not see that coming.
Nope.
Caught me beautifully by
It
surprise.
was well done. I want to go back to the house party scene and see if there were any clues in the house, but they didn't really spend too much time in the house.
The only clue that I caught through at all, and in retrospect, was he at the beginning when he's talking to Damage Control. He's like, "Look, I've got a wife and
kid.
family, or
right, but I
kids."
mean that's barely a clue.
But I mean, it's it's there,
Right.
It's a little thing,
It's
but
like
they never revisit it,
right, there's no
And there is calls from his wife, but it's not overt.
Right.
They did not give it away at all. It was
Right.
wonderful.
And I got to tell you, I love how it was just not even a big deal that Vulture was married to an African American woman.
No.
They just, this is.
I told you this movie is rife with diversity, which
I
is beautiful. It's nice to
love
watch.
that.
It's nice to see.
Well, I tell you, two honkies ain't gonna make the cute girl that was the product of that marriage. You know? I mean,
yeah.
So that was well done with the casting and
Yep.
the whole bit. And of course, the fact that she lived in a house that was pretty
Pretty swanky.
seriously
yeah.
swanky.
And again, didn't see it coming. It's like, oh, she's she's got some money, and
Now it's interesting though how he was able to figure it out in that short car ride from his house to the school.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we know we had to have.
but he
that
did
happen.
have the voice. He did hear him talk about.
He did hear, and then of course his daughter didn't help. Like, yeah, and how you left the party right away and hold
In
it. I was
DC.
doing, and in DC, hold it. He was,
Yeah.
So
So I like that.
and of course we got in the credits, the little interstitial in the middle of the credits.
Let
You
me
know.
let me explain that little Easter egg.
Okay, is it more than what I think it is?
Well, what do you think it is?
Well, it's Vulture is now in prison,
Mm-hmm.
and one of his old homies.
He was on that guy was on the ferry. He was the guy who was like basically hit by the car and got knocked into the water.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah.
He says, "Hey,
Well-
I got some guys on the outside,
Let me explain that to you.
Okay.
Because I was like, aha. That guy, when the facial recognition, when Karen in the suit did that, she said his name, and I was like, I know that name. Where do
Yeah.
I know that name? He's somebody.
Oh, is he going to be an upcoming villain?
Did you notice the tattoo on his neck?
No.
He had a tattoo of a scorpion.
He had like a messed up eye, and that's I couldn't take my eye off.
He had a
of that.
tattoo of a scorpion. Spider-Man has a villain called Scorpion. Spider-Man has a villain called Electro or Shocker. Spider-Man has a villain called the Vulture. And Spider-Man often fights a group known as the Sinister Six, guys on the outside. There was rumors that Sony was desperately trying to put together a Sinister Six movie with the Andrew Garfield thing, and it went, nah. And then they must have went, wait a second, we can bring it over here.
We can, well,
Yep.
Marvel has been known to put together disparate groups of people to fight other people.
Yeah. So that's what that was.
Okay.
The other big Easter egg that I found that I thought was interesting, because through the whole movie, the Zendaya, Michelle, as she kept saying,
Michelle.
I was like, who is she? Okay, who's she gonna be? Who's she gonna be? Who's she gonna be? I thought she was going to end up being as we said, Miles Morales character, the newer Spider-Man, which didn't make a lot of sense. MJ, she said her nickname was. As in Mary Jane, as in Mary Jane Watson Parker.
Did you notice, however, at the end there, she kind of was giving him a little bit of, I won't say googly eyes of love, but there was definitely like,
She was
giving him
through the whole movie.
She was definitely giving the kind of like, sup.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Like,
and like the way
I'm not going to make myself vulnerable, but hey, what's up?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So it was interesting.
Maybe she'll become,
Well, she'll be Mary Jane. She'll be his girlfriend. Eventually.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing he didn't, and this is a great little nod to the other Spider-Man franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, now is your chance, Peter. Kiss her. He's hanging upside down.
I guarantee that's what that was.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
That was hilarious.
And I went, don't. If you even pull that mask up a quarter of an inch, they'll know.
They held on it just long enough to where you thought he might do it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
falls down.
Yep.
So that's, and of course, I don't want to support any monument that was built by slaves. Oh, I don't think. And looks over to the guy, the
African-American
He
security guard.
goes,
He was like,
and he goes, okay.
There was a lot of humor in this movie.
Oh,
they
yeah.
really, it was interesting because it was kind of light through the whole thing until he opened the door at her house, and it was Michael Keaton, and it was like, oh shit, it's on.
Well, you can't, unless you have really crappy banter back and forth trying to be funny, which always falls flat.
Yeah.
Get out of my plane.
Yeah,
you are toasted. It's no. At that point, then you go into serious mode.
Right.
Before that, the comedy was just coming
the whole time.
over and over. Oh,
as
my
it should
gosh.
be. And
I tell you, I want hours of extras. Forget Cap's,
PSAs.
forget his PSAs. That in-school video team.
Oh, the news thing.
Oh my god!
I think that's another nod because I think because the girl's name was Betty Brant, and
is that what it was?
Yeah. Betsy Brant is J. Jonah Jameson's secretary, so maybe it's her daughter.
Could be
at the Daily
All I
Bugle.
know is that every time they came on, it's like they have no chemistry and awesome chemistry at the same. Their chemistry is having no chemistry.
Yes, they were terrible, they should be.
And deadpan, awful delivery. And I actually worked on a video magazine in junior high called Video Mag.
Okay.
Back when we would shoot on these
on giant videotapes
and try to edit them between two commercial, like home VCRs. And as we all know, the lag.
Yeah.
You cannot do precision editing. It was not possible. The best you could do is figure out, all right, it's about a 3-second lag, so you got to put, and those things. Oh, Angela Gonzalez was our host person. Not good. Just hello, La Mesa Junior High.
And they did that.
And over here we have the results.
And they did that perfectly.
Oh yeah. School. What do you think of the ending? How it ended with Aunt May?
Well, first of all, and the
hot Italian woman.
hot
apparently.
Italian, they have kind of
Oscar-winning.
yes.
Hot Italian woman.
Marissa Tomei, Oscar winner in a Marvel movie. That's a retconned character. It's in the last few years when they've kind of rebooted Spider-Man in the comics. Like Aunt May has gone from 80 to 50-ish, like Milfy 50, and
the Milfy 50s.
yes. So that was interesting. That was a very, very interesting way to end it. Basically, he gets the suit back from Stark, and he comes in his room and he pulls the mask off.
No. He hasn't gotten it back yet.
At the end?
No, he comes in. On the bed is the suit.
Right.
So he puts on the suit.
He puts on the suit,
Right.
And then he's got the mask, and he pulls the mask off, and he's got the full hero pose with the music, and and the camera's panning around, and it pans around to the doorway, and May is standing there.
And like, what the cut?
Yeah, what the cut?
Yeah, and then cut right to.
Yeah, still a Disney movie. They got two shits in there, but they didn't get.
And actually, they did get an F in there, but they had to say Fs.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They did F, marry, kill, and it was Thor. She would F Thor, marry Tony, and I can't remember.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, but I just remember nobody in high school is going F, marry, kill. But for this,
maybe a uptight high school, science high school, But anyway,
Paris Geller probably would from Gilmore Girls.
Yes, absolutely.
Although she's so hardcore, she probably would use the.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Now I have a question.
Okay.
Spider, next word, man.
Yes.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Here it is Spider-Man.
I believe that's accurate.
I don't like that.
I think that's how it always was.
Spider-Man, I always considered it to be one word. I could even make an argument for spider, next word, man. Hyphen is grammatically correct, but it's like,
It's a little wobbly.
He's a man. What kind of a man? He's a Spider-Man.
One of my favorite jokes.
Well, is Superman super-man?
No.
He's Superman.
Yeah.
It just,
It's just
I know
how
it's
it's
another
been.
universe.
No, it's just how it's always been. That's how they've done it.
just-
One of my favorite jokes of all time, of back in the day on The Daily Show, I remember Jon Stewart was doing a piece because it was when the first Spider-Man was coming out. It was or when the rights got released and they were working on.
By day, he's an accountant named
He said
Herschel Spiderman.
Well, that's exactly what he said. He said,
Oh, really? Was that-
He said, remember. He said, okay, remember. The Jews run Hollywood, so it's Spider-Man. Irving Spider-Man. That's how you'll get the movie, man.
So, in summation, let's give it a letter grade.
A- for sure.
Yeah. I'd be in the B plus A minus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's
not bad at all.
It's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
good.
It was
Michael
really good.
Keaton.
It wasn't Avengers like blow your head off like the first Avengers.
It was a little bit more comedic.
Yeah,
than
which I liked.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's some of the best stuff that you get out of some of the Avengers film is the banter between him and Cap
and fucking Guardians too.
The jokes are what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have been scanning the old internet, and of course, at the end of of Spider-Man: Homecoming, it says Spider-Man will return.
Yep.
And they had the aperture and the blood and the da da da. No,
that's James
Bond.
Yeah.
But I've heard a rumor. Okay, who the next villain is going to be?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now you remember what's her name? Zendaya's from a Disney show.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever heard of the Amazing Life of Zack and Cody?
Yeah.
So apparently, the new villain is going to be.
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you in 2 weeks.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Micah Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Benny Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard, and Fun. Thwip, thwip, snicked. And what's the other one? Bamf.
Bamf!
Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and its production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Or email us, comlinkaBillionPod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ!
Audio Primate.